What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Tuesday, April 29th. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate and all 4 NBA playoff games. I'll give you my dog of the day and pick out my massive lock, my pick that regardless of price, I think has the highest chance of cashing today. Not to jinx it, but we are on a 6-0 run here headed into Monday. We took the Dodgers there as a massive favorite as our massive lock of the day, and they're up 1-0, so hopefully that run can continue. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep on seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking down in the comments. I personally answer every single comment every day. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and it pays to check back a couple of times per day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. In terms of a recap for yesterday, we're actually recording a little bit early. Now, things are not off to the hottest start. We had the under there in that Minnesota-Cleveland game, and unfortunately, we see Minnesota have their best offensive day of the entire season, so that one's not going to come through. The Tigers and the Astros are still playing. That one looking a little bit iffy with the Astros leading. We do have the under there in that Athletics-Texas Rangers game, and that's looking pretty good so far down to the bottom of the 8th inning, I believe. And yeah, there's only been 3 total runs scored in that, so that's looking good. And we still have the Rockies at plus 150 live as our dog of the day, although that one's looking a little bit sketch as well. And we have the Dodgers leading currently as our massive lock of the day. So let's go ahead and hop into our first game on this slate here on a Tuesday, and that's the Minnesota Twins going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. We've got a pretty interesting pitching matchup. Chris Paddack and Tanner Bibee taking the mound. Now, the Twins come into this game fresh off of their, like I was saying, best offensive game maybe of the entire season, or very close to it. They win 11-1, so getting off to a great start to the series. They're hitting the ball in this one to Chris Paddack, who's 0-3 this year, a 6.45 ERA, but his last 3 starts have all been very solid. Now, not really his fault that we see the Twins go 0-3 in those starts. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of those starts. He's gone at least 5 innings in each outing, so really he's been throwing the ball well. It's just been his team isn't scoring around him. Now, in terms of the bullpen situation for the Twins, that's been solid this year, a 3.39 bullpen ERA. The offense obviously hitting the ball the best they've hit it all season long. They've scored 11, 5, and 11 runs over their last few games. So numbers headed in the right direction for them offensively. Will they keep headed that direction here against the Guardians in game 2? Well, we'll have to see, guys. Cleveland 15-13 on the year. They've now lost 3 in a row. They're hitting the ball to Tanner Bibee, who's 2-2 this year, a 5.19 ERA. His last outing, though, was very solid against the Yankees. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs allowed. That was a 3-2 win out there for Cleveland. So I'm sure they feel pretty good about that. Over his 5 starts this year, he's really only had 2 bad ones. That was a bad one against the Angels, a bad one against Baltimore. So at home this year, he's been pretty lights out. We'll see if that trend continues in this one. Now, the bullpen situation for Cleveland, they haven't been as good this year as they were a season ago, that's for sure. Somewhere around the middle of the pack, a 3.79 bullpen ERA. The offense obviously struggling here a little bit. They've scored 1, 3, and 3 runs over their last few games. Now, Steven Kwan, Kyle Manzardo, both off to good starts. Kwan maintaining it. I'd say Manzardo not exactly maintaining it. They're 20th in the majors in runs scored, 18th in batting average. This is just probably going to be a little bit below average kind of offense for this team. So we'll see what happens in this one, guys. Looking at the numbers, the Twins are plus 130. The Guardians are minus 152. We've got a total of 8. Minnesota only 3-10 against the spread on the road. 15, 11, and 3 to the under. Cleveland's 8-5 at home. 15, 11, and 2 to the over. This isn't a game where I'm showing a ton of value, but given what we've seen from Paddack lately and what we've seen from Bibee lately, I'm leaning a bit here towards the Twins at plus 130. Now, when you're looking at an underdog like this, when we're putting out an underdog of the day every single day, we have to at least keep the Twins at plus 130 on the list. We love what we've seen from Paddack lately. Obviously, the Twins are swinging some pretty hot bats right now, so maybe they've got a chance here to go back-to-back and steal both games 1 and 2. Next up, guys, we're looking at the New York Yankees going on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Yankees took the 4-3 loss there. O'Hearn's 3-run home run. That's almost all that the Orioles needed. The Yankees 17-12 on the year, hitting the ball to Carlos Rodon, who's 3-3 this season, a 3.50 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts have been excellent. Has not given up an earned run over his last 13 innings of work. Spanning starts at Cleveland and at Tampa Bay. Now he's at Baltimore. We'll see what he can do. Definitely a team that he's faced a time or two, and a left-handed starter out there. I think he probably feels pretty decent about this spot, and so do the Yankees. I'm sure they feel excellent about their bullpen. Top 6 in the majors, a 3.06 bullpen ERA, and the offense it's been pretty good coming into game one of this series where they only scored 3 runs. Probably doesn't feel great, but you've got Aaron Judge just killing it out there. 4 home runs, batting .405 with 28 RBIs. Like, absolutely crazy, crazy numbers. And the Yankees are first in most of the major offensive categories this season so far. So expecting good stuff from the Yankees at the plate is the norm. They're taking on the Baltimore Orioles, who are 11-17 on the year, fresh off of that 4-3 win. I'm sure they feel pretty awesome about that. Mullins taking away that home run from Goldschmidt. That was pretty crazy. This Orioles team, not off to the best start to the year, obviously. Now they're handing the ball to Kyle Gibson, who is 8-8, went 8-8 last season. He's going to be making his season debut, coming over from the Cardinals, where he didn't exactly have, not what I would have termed an amazing season, and definitely a terrible end of the year. So maybe he can turn things around here, but at 37, we're starting to get a little bit long in the tooth there. So we'll see what Kyle Gibbs can do. Not somebody I'm super stoked about, and he's facing the Yankees. Now, the bullpen situation for Baltimore, also not a great one. A 4.74 bullpen ERA is not awesome, and the offense has not been good recently. I know they're coming off a win, but they've scored 4, 0, 2, 3, and 2 runs over their last few games. Nobody hitting the ball particularly well. They're 27th in the majors in batting average. They are 25th in on-base percentage, getting on base at under 300. So not a good offensive team. There's no doubt about that. So looking at the numbers, the Yankees are minus 155. The Orioles are plus 130. We've got a total of 9.5. The Yankees 7-6 on the road, 14, 13, and 2 to the under. Baltimore 6-6 at home, 13, 12, and 3 to the over. Guys, I think this is a pretty good spot to take the Yankees at minus 155. Is this going to be our lock of the day? It's got something of a chance. I'm not that confident. Maybe in Rodon, that would be what would hold me back here. But right now, not loving what we're seeing from Baltimore. Obviously, Gibson is somewhat of an unknown, but really, is he an unknown? So yeah, I'm going to be leaning towards the Yankees. This one's got a chance to go in the pinned comment one way or the other. Hopping in here with a quick reminder, guys, all of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see our top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball has been our most profitable sport the last 3 years running and is off to a great start to the year. And premium picks overall are running great right now. 27-10 over our last 37 picks, and that covers everything up through Sunday. At StumpTheSpread.com, you'll be able to see exclusive free picks only posted there, our free-to-use bet size calculator, and our premium top confidence picks, which might not and probably will not always match what we see here in the video because I am not the MLB capper over there at Stump the Spread. You need to sign up for our free email newsletter. Also, that'll get you free picks straight to your inbox every day and updates on your results. Just make sure to check your spam folder, and that's super easy to sign up for, guys. Click the link in the description, go to StumpTheSpread.com, sign up for a free account. It's absolutely free. All they ask for is your name and your email address, and you'll be on that email list. And there's parlays, all kinds of niche bets, NASCAR stuff, golf stuff, like things you would have never thought about betting. Our guys have found some value out there for you, and we're sending it out for free. So definitely get on that free email list for sure. And guys, if you're a huge fan of what we do here every single day, you can sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Channel members are eligible for our members only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member each month. And as we get more channel members, we'll be doing more and more giveaways each and every month. Members also get early access to all of our videos and get their names up on screen in every single video. We'll be doing our hoodie giveaway here for May on the 20th, if not earlier. We're getting very close to maybe reaching the level where we'd maybe give away 2 hoodies, or since it's summer, maybe we'll switch to giving away t-shirts. Let me know in the comment what you guys would rather have the giveaways be, a hoodie or a t-shirt or something like that. So let me know, and let's jump right back here into the games, where we're looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Cubs come into this game, they just lost 2 out of 3 against the Phillies, which, I mean, not the end of the world, but not like the Phillies have been awesome this year, so maybe that doesn't feel great now. The Cubs handing the ball in this one to Shota Imanaga, who's 2-1 this year, a 3.18 ERA. Now, his last start was not his best. He was going up against the Dodgers, so, you know, like kind of the toughest team you can face. He went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs, including 3 home runs, but the Cubs managed to win that game 11-10 in extra innings. A wild, wild game, but yeah, Imanaga not showing his best stuff last time out. Now, I think he could definitely be in for a bounce back in this one. The problem that confronts us here is that Cubs bullpen is atrocious. Bottom 3 in the majors, a 4.99 bullpen ERA is pretty horrifying. Now, they weren't terrible in their last game, so maybe that's a step in the right direction, but we'll see what they can do. Now, the offense, also not great in the last game, only scoring 1 run. They scored 1, 4, 4, 7, and 11 runs. This has been kind of the best offense in the majors this season, first in the MLB in runs scored, second in on-base percentage, third in slugging percentage. Slugging a .444 clip is pretty bonkers. So we'll see if the Cubs can keep it rolling here against the Pirates, who come into this game 11-18, losers of 3 out of their last 4. They're handing the ball to Andrew Heaney, who's actually been really good, guys. He's 2-1 this year, a 1.72 ERA. His last start, he was lights out there at the Angels, went 6 innings, gave up only a single hit over those 6 innings, no runs allowed, struck out 9 and walked 0. And generally speaking this year, he's had one bad start that was at the Cincinnati Reds. Other than that, he has been lights out this season. So we'll see if he can back that up, see what we get from the Pirates bullpen in this one, which has been kind of middle of the road, which is a step up from what we saw from them in the early goings. Now the offense, not really a step anywhere positive. They're 23rd in the majors in runs scored, 26th in batting average, batting only .224 as a team. Not a great offense here in the early goings, no doubt about that. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Looking at the numbers, the Cubs are -138. The Pirates are +118. We've got a total in this one of 8.5. The Cubs 8-5 on the road, 17-10-2 to the over. The Pirates 6-7 at home, 15-13-1 to the under. The first thing that jumps out to me in this game is certainly the under, but the Cubs bullpen is terrible, so that makes me a little bit concerned about the full game under. So I think it's time to look at something like under in the first 5. That seems extremely live to me, or just load it up, do a little bit of a gamble here, and take a no-run first inning spot in this one. And I think that's excellent. I'm obviously expecting Imanaga to bounce back. I also think we're going to keep seeing good stuff from Heaney. So yeah, go ahead and give me a no-run first inning in this one with a slight lean towards the under and a slight lean towards the Cubs overall. Next up, guys, we're looking at the St. Louis Cardinals going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds. The Cardinals come into this game losers in game 1 of this series, losing 3-1. They also lost the last game of their series against the Brewers. 12-17 on the year, kind of feels like par for the course for the Cardinals, who are going to be handing the ball in this one to Miles Mikolas, who's 0-2 this year, a 5.70 ERA. His last start was probably his best outing of the season. He's been getting a little bit better. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, but no runs at Atlanta. Now, the Cardinals lost that game 4-1. They're 0-5 in his 5 starts this year, so that probably doesn't feel great for him or the franchise, but he's actually throwing the ball a little bit better here recently. Now, is that going to hold up in this one? We'll have to wait and see. It's definitely a possibility, but the Reds, definitely a team with some familiarity with Mikolas, no doubt about that. The Cardinals bullpen got off to a pretty good start to the season, but it's been fading here lately pretty aggressively. They're down to what, bottom 7 or something like that in the majors, a 4.70 bullpen ERA. Obviously pretty bad there. And the offense, predictably, guys, has fallen off a cliff. They've scored 2 runs total over their last 2 games. Brendan Donovan's off to a hot start, but the Cardinals, who were once leading the MLB in runs scored, are all the way down to 10th. They're still somehow first in batting average, but that isn't going to hold up either. They're 10th in slugging percentage, another number that is plunging. So not expecting the Cardinals to be great at the plate this year in general necessarily. We'll see what happens. They're taking on the red-hot Cincinnati Reds, who have now won 5 in a row now. 3 of those wins were against the Colorado Rockies, so maybe discount that a little bit. They're handing the ball in this game to Brady Singer, who's been very good this season. 4-0, a 3.62 ERA, a great acquisition there from the Reds in the offseason. His last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and a 5-2 win there at the Marlins. Definitely looks pretty good. He hasn't been lights out. He's given up 3 earned runs in 3 out of his 5 starts, but we see the Reds are 4-1 in his 5 starts. So not a lot wrong with that for Brady Singer. We'll see what he does in this one. See if that Reds bullpen can continue to look solid. A 3.46 bullpen ERA, while not exactly top tier, is very good. No problem with that. And the offense is finding its way. 3, 8, 6, 8, and 5 runs over their last few games. Gavin Lux hitting the ball well. Austin Hayes hitting the ball well. Ellie De La Cruz, his batting average is all the way up to 270. That's a great sign. That dude gets on base and good things happen. Now, looking at their team totals for the season, obviously those run scored numbers are a little bit skewed by that 24-point beatdown they put on Baltimore. But overall, guys, this Reds team is looking like a real offensive team at the moment. Will that last? We'll have to wait and see. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, the Cardinals are plus 115. The Reds are minus 135. We've got a total of 9.5 in this one. St. Louis, 2-11 on the road. 15-12-2 to the over. Cincinnati 7-6 at home, 15-13-1 to the under. I would maybe lean a little bit towards under 9.5 in this game with these 2 dudes on the mound. Mikolas has been throwing the ball quite a bit better. The Cardinals' offense is just falling apart. So yeah, I think the under is certainly live, but I also really like the Cincinnati Reds here at minus 135. I think we're to see a good start from Brady Singer. I think, like I was just saying, the Cardinals' offense will continue to struggle, and taking the Reds at minus 135, a very good chance to end up in the pinned comment. Rapid fire through these games, guys. We're looking at the Washington Nationals going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Nationals took the 19-5 loss against the Mets in Game 4 of that series, so probably doesn't feel great. They're 13-16 on the year, handing the ball to Mackenzie Gore, who's 2-3 this season, a 3.34 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts have looked excellent. 6 innings, 4 hits, and 2 earned runs allowed against the Rockies and then against the Baltimore Orioles. we haven't seen a ton of success necessarily for the Nationals when he's on the mound. They're 2-3 overall, but not a lot of bad stuff. Like he's mostly had good outings. He had a 13 strikeout appearance there against Colorado. He's been doing some good stuff, so feeling decent about Mackenzie Gore, but this Nationals bullpen is the worst bullpen in all of Major League Baseball, so that does not exactly fill me with confidence here. So we'll see what goes on, but I'm not big on the Nationals late in games. Now, the offense has been okay, 5-8-0 and 5 runs over their last few. Ruiz off to a decent start. Obviously, getting C.J. Abrams back is helpful, but they're still only 15th in the majors in runs scored, and not any numbers really showing me that number of runs scored is going to go anywhere crazy. So we're going to need to figure something out here against the Phillies, who just won 2 out of 3 at Wrigley Field. That's got to feel positive for a Phillies team that has struggled. They're going to be handing the ball to Zach Wheeler, and speaking of dudes who have struggled this season, he's only 2-1 with a 3.62 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts looked much better. Not completely dominant. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against Miami. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs there against the Mets. But definitely back on the right track after struggling against the Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. So expecting Zach Wheeler to continue to improve, what is shown so far this season. Now that Phillies bullpen is scary, guys. A 5.28 bullpen ERA. They are second worst, ahead of only the Washington Nationals. So 2 really bad bullpens going up against each other in this one. Now the offense for the Phillies hasn't been anything to write home about either. They're 12th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in batting average. They've scored, 3, 10, 0, 3, and 1 runs over their last few. Now, maybe the offense is heating up, but I'm not going to hold my breath here. And looking at the numbers for this game, I'm a little bit shocked to see the Phillies as such huge favorites, even with Zach Wheeler on the mound. The Phillies are minus 190. The Nationals are plus 160. We've got a total of 8.5. Washington, 4-9 on the road, a 500 over-under team. The Phillies, 9-4 at home, and a slight under team. I'm going to be leaning just a little bit here towards the Nationals at plus 160. I just think it's too good of a price. Now, I don't love this spot. It's not going anywhere near the pin comment. It's not a dog of the day or anything like that. I just don't trust Zach Wheeler that much. I don't trust the Phillies offense that much. I trust neither bullpen at all. So this is just a spot where I think the underdog might have a little bit of extra value. Next up, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Royals come into this game 14-15 on the year. Now, they did finally take a loss in the last game of that series against the Astros, losing their 7-3, but overall, they've been looking pretty good. They're handing the ball to Michael Lorenzen, who's 2-3 this year, a 3.90 ERA. It's taken him a little bit of time to settle in, but his last start was good. It was against the Rockies. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, only a single earned run in that one. It was a solo home run, but overall, he's thrown the ball pretty well, so I'm expecting good stuff from him in this one. The Royals bullpen is also trending in the right direction, a 3.48 bullpen ERA. Has him in the top half of the league at least. Now, the offense for the Royals continues to be a problem. I mean, they're coming off a game where they scored 3 runs. They scored 3, 2, and 2 runs in the entire series against the Astros. Yeah, not going to do a lot of awesome things scoring 7 runs over 3 games. Now, we've seen Bobby Witt Jr. get things back on track, but still, this team is only 28th in the majors in runs scored and 29th in slugging percentage. So the Royals bats, not my favorite bats. Now, they're taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, who are 14-14. They just swept the Padres after winning 2 out of 3 there at the Diamondbacks. Now they're back home. We'll see what they can do, handing the ball to Taj Bradley, who's 2-1 this year, a 5.08 ERA, thanks in large part to a terrible start there against the Yankees and a not-so-good start against the Rangers earlier this year as well. Now, his last start at Arizona wasn't bad. 6 innings, 6 hits, and 3 earned runs against, one of the scariest offenses in Major League Baseball is not terrible. The Tampa Bay bullpen has been excellent. Top 5 in the majors, a 2.99 bullpen ERA. Excellent. Not a lot of bad things to say about that, obviously. Now, the offense has been middle of the road. They're 15th in the majors in runs scored, so literally exactly middle of the road, but they're top 7 in batting average. They're top 11 in slugging percentage. I honestly think this could be a relatively decent, maybe even slightly above average offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Royals are plus 130. The Tampa Bay Rays are minus 155. We've got a total of 9 in this game. The Royals, 3-10 on the road, a bad road team. They're 18-10-1 to the under. Tampa Bay, 9-10 at home, 15-11-2 to the under. Guys, I am definitely taking the under. I'm definitely taking the under. There's no way around it. I'm going to for sure put the under in the pin comment. It's not going to be the lock of the day, but it is definitely going in there because 2 very solid bullpens, 1 solid and 1 excellent starting pitcher. Like, neither offense is wowing me right now. I think we're going to see offense at a premium in this game, and I definitely think, a low total here is what I would expect. If this was 7.5, I wouldn't have been shocked. 9, give me the under. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Boston Red Sox going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Red Sox come to this game 16-14 on the year, fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 there against the Guardians. Now, that was a road series. Boston finished it off strong, winning 13-3. They're handing the ball in this one to Garrett Crochet, who's been very good this year. 2-2, a 1.95 ERA, looking like a very solid signing, except for his last start against Seattle. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs allowed. He walked 5 and struck out 9. Definitely some control issues in that game. I expect him to bounce back, but also we have to take some of his numbers this year with a grain of salt. He has pitched twice against the White Sox already, so we'll see what he does in this one against a team that he's already faced once, and it was a weird start, guys. He went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs. Only one of them was earned. He did give up a home run and also walked 4 there against Toronto. So we'll see what he does once again, getting to pitch against Toronto, this time at Toronto. So like I said, we'll see what happens. That Boston bullpen, nothing to write home about. A 4.00 ERA is pretty bad. The offense has turned things around. They've scored 7 and 13 runs over their last couple of games. Alex Bregman doing his thing. Trevor Story doing his thing. Overall, they're 5th in the majors in runs scored, 9th in batting average, 8th in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 331 clip. This is going to be a good offensive team. They were just struggling there for a minute. So we'll see what they do in this one, going up against the Blue Jays, who are 13-15 on the year, just lost 2 out of 3 at Yankee Stadium. They're handing the ball in this one to young Bowden Francis, who's 2-3 this year, a 3.58 ERA. Now, his last outing was a kind of weird one, honestly, kind of odd. Went 4 2/3 innings against Houston, so not a very deep start. Gave up 8 hits, only 3 earned runs, but did give up a home run, and he's given up, what is it now? Quite a few home runs. It looks like 6 home runs over his 5 starts. It's been a little bit tough out there. The strikeout number's not where you would want to see him, so we'll see what he can do in this one. Going against the Red Sox, maybe not the easiest matchup for him either. The bullpen numbers for Toronto, maybe sliding a little bit, a 3.68 bullpen ERA, and the offense hasn't really been there this year. I mean, they're 26th in the majors in terms of runs scored. They're 15th in batting average and 27th in slugging percentage. Not a great offensive team, so looking at the numbers, I'm not shocked to see the Blue Jays as significant underdogs. The Red Sox are minus 155. The Blue Jays are plus 130. We've got a total of 7.5 in this one. Boston, a 500 road team, so not that bad given what we've seen road teams do this year in the MLB. They're a 500 over-under team. And Toronto, 8-5 at home, 7-10-1 to the under. I'm not taking under 7.5, but I will lean here just a bit towards the Boston Red Sox. It seems like they're figuring things out at the plate. Seems like Crochet is, probably going to be all right, but this is not going anywhere in the pin comment because of Crochet's struggles there against the Blue Jays earlier this year in a pretty weird game, and the fact he's given up the long ball recently, that just all makes me a little bit nervous. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on the New York Mets. The Diamondbacks, 15-13 on the year. They had lost 4 in a row before winning their last game there against the Atlanta Braves. They're handing the ball to Eduardo Rodriguez, who comes into this game 1-2 on the year, a 4.40 ERA. His last start, not great against Tampa Bay. Start for that, not great against the Marlins. So we'll see if he's got a bounce back in him, but it's been looking a little bit sketchy here for Eduardo Rodriguez. Now, the bullpen situation for Arizona also not on top of the world. A 4.64 bullpen ERA has them squarely in the bottom third of the majors. The thing that always seems to save this team is their crazy offense, which led right now by Josh Naylor. I mean, overall, they're 3rd in the majors in runs scored. They're 6th in the majors in on-base percentage and top 2 out there in slugging percentage. This is an elite offense. We'll see what they can get going against the Mets, who are 20-9 on the year, fresh off of winning 19-5 there at the Washington Nationals in their last game. So, yeah, pretty dominant stuff. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to David Peterson. He is 1-1 this year, a 3.29 ERA. His last start, he gave up 8 hits, but only 2 earned runs against the Phillies. It was eventually a 4-3 win in extras for the Mets, who are 4-1 over his 5 starts this year. He gives up a lot of hits, but usually manages to pitch his way out of trouble. Now, will that be happening against the Arizona Diamondbacks? That seems like a bit of a big ask if you're looking at me. Now, the bullpen situation for the Mets has been solid, a 3.07 bullpen ERA, nothing wrong with that. Obviously, the offense comes into this one swinging some pretty hot bats. Pete Alonso doing his thing, Brandon Nimmo doing his thing. They're only 15th in the majors in runs scored, though, and 20th in batting average. So maybe we take all that with a little grain of salt. Now, the Mets are big favorites in this one at minus 143. The Diamondbacks are plus 120. We've got a total of 8.5 out there. Arizona, 7-5 on the road, 14-10-4 to the over. The Mets are an MLB best 12-1 at home this season. They're also 18-10-1 to the under. I don't think this is an under spot, though, guys. If anything, it's an over spot. I think we're going to see Rodriguez probably struggle a little bit. David Peterson, if he gives up a bunch of hits to the Diamondbacks, is also going to struggle. So, yeah, give me over 8.5 as a little bit of a lean, and I also think this probably isn't a terrible spot to take the Mets at -143, but none of this, guys, is going anywhere near the pinned comment. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Brewers just salvaged a win there in the last game of their series against the Cardinals, winning 7-1. So maybe they're back on track here. They're 14-15 on the season, handing the ball to Freddie Peralta, who's 2-2 this year, a 2.43 ERA. Now, his last start was at the San Francisco Giants, a pretty tough place to pitch this year. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs, so kept his team in the game. He's only given up 1 home run this season, which is very impressive stuff. So we'll see what he does in this start, obviously not going up against the toughest opponent. Now, we do worry about that Milwaukee bullpen. A 4.87 bullpen ERA is a problem. The offense also not hitting the ball insanely well, but they have scored a 7, 5, 2, and 5 runs over their last few games, so not the end of the world. They're 6th in the majors in runs scored. They're 10th in the majors right now in batting average. So there's some positives for sure for this Milwaukee Brewers team. Now they're taking on the White Sox, a team lacking positives. They're 7-21 on the year. Maybe not going to be as bad as last season, but they're going to be real freaking bad. They're handing the ball to Bryce Wilson, who comes into this game making his second start of the year, and his first one not so good. He's normally a bullpen guy, but getting the start here, and he started at the Twins. Went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and an earned run, and what was a 6-3 loss there for the White Sox. So not somebody I'm super stoked to see starting a game, and that means we're going to see a big helping of that White Sox bullpen, and they're bad, guys. Bottom, 10 in the majors, something like that. A 4.28 bullpen ERA is pretty horrendous, and the offense looking like they're going to be historically bad once again. They are last in the majors in batting average, last in the majors in slugging percentage, and 3rd from last in on base percentage. This is a terrible offensive team, no way around it. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Brewers are -240, the White Sox are +200. We've got a total of 8 in this game. Milwaukee's only 5-11 on the road. They're 15-11-3 to the under. The White Sox 4-8 at home, 14-12-2 to the under. I think this is a great get-right spot here for the Milwaukee Brewers as they, try and rack up some wins and dig themselves out of this hole. I'm loving what we're seeing from Freddie Peralta. He is a top-tier starter in the majors at the moment, so definitely going to take the Brewers here at -240. And this play, guys, has a very real chance to end up as the lock of the day. We're putting it on the list. It's got a chance. We'll see if it makes the cut. Now, guys, we're going to hop over and look at all 4 NBA games here on this slate. Pretty spoiled getting 4 NBA playoff games here on a Tuesday. Feels pretty nice. First up, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks going on the road to take on the Indiana Pacers in Game 4 of their series. We've got the Pacers up 3-1 after what they did there in Game 4, winning 129-103. Not a particularly close game there for the Bucks, who didn't play their best. Giannis not having an amazing day. Obviously, we see Dame go down there with the torn Achilles. That's pretty depressing stuff, I'm going to be honest, guys. As somebody who, loved watching Dame in his Blazers years and all that, it was very, very cool to, see him make some huge shots, and now to see him go down like that doesn't feel great. I hope he makes makes a full recovery, makes a big comeback, and we get to see something close to prime Dame. But I don't know. That was a rough one. Now, looking at what we expect to see from the Bucks in this one, obviously they got to have a huge game from Giannis, but everybody else has to step up. Like Gary Trent Jr., a huge fall-off game. He played terrible. Kuzma continues to be absolutely worthless, looking like a terrible signing there. Kevin Porter Jr. actually played great. Gonna need another great game from him. Bobby Portis has to do more in what time he gets off the bench. 14 points in 25 minutes, not going to cut it. Somebody got to help Giannis, and Giannis has to do better himself. So we'll see how that goes in terms of the injury report for the Bucks. The only notable one is Dame, and he's out for maybe next year as well. So we'll see how that goes. The Pacers come into this game, obviously very happy with how they played. 23 from Miles Turner. He had his best game of the series. Nembhard was great. Halliburton shot the ball relatively well, but had 15 assists. Siakam actually had an off game out of character for him, but the bench really played well. Toppin, Walker, and we saw TJ McConnell have a great game also. So really everybody playing well there for the Pacers. They come into this game looking pretty healthy, except for Nesmith and Mathurin, both there on the injury list. Now, Nesmith comes in this game with a back issue. He's probable, so I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be out there. Mathurin dealing with that abdomen injury. He's questionable for this game, so we'll see if he makes his return for this one. It's looking like a little bit of a rough spot there. I mean, the Pacers, they come into this game 7.5 or 8.5 point favorites. You can find both numbers out there, which is kind of odd. We've got a total of 222.5. Milwaukee, 19-22-1 against the spread on the road. They're 17-18-1 against the spread after a loss. They are 16-8 this season straight up without Damian Lillard. They're also 45-42 to the over. The Pacers, 19-21-3 against the spread at home this year. 20-31-1 against the spread after a win. They're 45-39-2 to the over. Guys, I'm going to be taking the Milwaukee Bucks getting 8.5 points in the spot. I know they're probably a little bit depressed, but I don't think Giannis is going to allow them to give up here. I don't think Giannis is going to be giving up. So I think taking the Bucks here, getting 8.5 points, I think they've got a shot to make this a real game if Giannis can get a little bit of help, but that's not a play that I have enough confidence to put in the pinned comment. I also don't have a huge lean here on the total in this game, but I do have some player props that I think are very, very reasonable for this game. And first up, I like Kevin Porter Jr. over 14.5 points. He had a great game 4. Now with Lillard out, he officially has to be the second best offensive player on the team. I expect him to at least have a decent game out there, getting up to 15 points. Not a huge deal for somebody with his kind of motor. So like his over on points. I also like Giannis's over on points. He's going to be going nuts out there after a mediocre game 4 where he wasn't getting any calls despite his 11 free throw attempts. Bro was getting mugged out there. It was crazy. Like, I think we will also continue to see him make his free throws despite the fact he'll be shooting free throws on the road here. I like Giannis's over a decent amount. And last but not least, guys, I like Halliburton's over on rebounds, over 4.5. He's had at least 5 boards in every game in the series. He's averaging 6.75 rebounds through the first 4 games of the series. I don't see any major reason why that would drop off a cliff here, especially playing at home. So Halliburton's over on rebounds, probably my favorite lean on this entire game. That or Kevin Porter Jr.'s over on points. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Detroit Pistons going on the road to take on the New York Knicks. Now, this series has been pretty wild, guys. We actually see Detroit down 3-1, which feels pretty unjustified given how that game ended there in game 4. Clearly should have been a foul call, and it's been admitted there should have been a foul call. Kind of sucks. Like, maybe just shut up, don't tell us there should have been a foul call when it was very clear that this game should have probably been decided with 3 free throws there at the end. So yeah, I don't know. That's tough to watch. Not how you want a playoff game to end, especially for a young, hungry team like the Pistons. Now they come into this game obviously probably very upset with how things ended. Now Cade played slightly better. He ended up with only 25 points in this game, but he was 11 of 23 from the field. Those 7 turnovers though really sting. He had a triple-double in the game, which is obviously crazy, but it doesn't probably feel crazy good when it comes in a loss. Malik Beasley Jr. played okay off the bench, finally starting to find his shot a bit, but yeah, very disappointing stuff from Schroeder coming off the bench. 2 of 4 in the game, shot 0 threes, only had 6 points. Definitely expected more from him. Detroit really struggled shooting the ball, only 7 of 29 from 3. That's not going to work. I don't care how bad you crush the Knicks on the boards. That's not going to be enough. You can't knock down any threes. Tobias Harris actually played great. Tim Hardaway Jr., I mean, yeah, should have been the hero of this game, but it goes that way sometimes, guys. It goes that way. So we'll see what we get from the Pistons, who come into this game fully healthy, except for Isaiah Stewart, who looks like he's probably going to miss this one again. I mean, it's not 100% sure he is questionable, but I haven't seen anything that would really indicate to me that he's definitely coming back. Now, in terms of the Knicks, they've got to be thrilled with what they saw from both Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns there in Game 4. Obviously, big numbers from both of them. Now, everybody else, I don't know, only 5 total bench points scored for the Knicks in that game. That's bad even for the Knicks. In terms of, like the scoring we're getting from Mikal Bridges, probably doesn't feel like justified with how much they gave up for this dude to be coming in here, going 3 of 12 from the field and scoring 8 points in a playoff game. So, especially in the first round. So, we'll see how things go for the others for the Knicks, but that wasn't super encouraging, I'll say that. Now, the Knicks, they come into this game also, looking very healthy, more healthy even than the Pistons. The Knicks are 100% rested and, well, not rested, but ready to go for this one. So, looking at the numbers, the Knicks 5.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 213.5. Detroit 24-17-2 against the spread on the road this season. A very good road team, 23-16-1 against spread after a loss. Definitely a team that's good at bouncing back after a loss. And they're a slight over team this season. The Knicks 22-20-1 against spread at home, 25-27-1 against spread after a win, and a slight over team themselves. I'm probably not taking over 213.5. I just don't love it, but I definitely think this is a good spot to ride with the Detroit Pistons getting 5.5 points. I think they'll keep this thing very, very close. Probably have a chance to win it there at the end. They've shown they have more than enough to hang with the Knicks in this series. So that's the way I'm leaning on the side in the over-under. Let's jump into some player props, and you're probably not going to be too shocked about the first 2 guys. I think we're seeing Cat continue to have a good time. I'm taking him over 23.5 points in this game. He had 27 points there in Game 4, was very aggressively hunting his shot in that 94-93 win. I think we see more of the same in this one. While he might not go 5 of 7 from 3, I think there's a better chance of him having a good shooting night at home as opposed to that happening on the road. And on the same side of the coin, guys, I like Karl Anthony Towns also over 1.5 made threes. as he stated himself, he's one of the best shooting bigs of all time. That is true. I fully expect him to make plenty of threes in this game. Knocking down at least 2 feels like a fantastic spot to me, and that's a play that has a good chance to end up in the pinned comment there. And I also like Schroeder to bounce back a little bit, getting over 10.5 points in this game. He had a bad game in Game 4 just in terms of not getting any shots up. I think that changes here in Game 5. He had a 20-point game in Madison Square Garden in Game 2. I think we're going to see the Pistons show a lot of fight here facing elimination. No pun intended. We know the Pistons are a team that's more than happy to fight, but let's go ahead and jump over to our next game. We're looking at the Orlando Magic going on the road to take on the Boston Celtics. Now, the Magic are down 3-1. Also, they lost Game 4 there 107-98, so not able to get another win there on their home court. Jason Tatum continues to look amazing out there with 37 points, so dominant stuff there. The Magic got great numbers from Banchero, pretty good numbers there from Franz Wagner, but yeah, you can't only have 2 scores. That's just not going to quite get the job done, guys. They totaled, 55 points. That's a lot of points between 2 guys in a playoff game, but that's not going to be enough to win you a game. We saw 12 points from Corey Joseph, 10 points off the bench for Anthony Black. We saw the Magic shoot 8 of 30 from 3. A huge concern that we had for them coming into these playoffs was that they just couldn't score enough and definitely couldn't make enough threes. So not great. Not great stuff, guys. Not great. So we'll see if the Magic have a little bit of a last stand in them in this one. It's going to be interesting to see. They're going to have to really dig deep, and somebody's going to have some sort of big game out there. Now, in terms of their injury report, they are healthy and ready to go, so that's a big positive, but I have a hard time thinking that it's going to be enough. Now, we'll see. They're going up against the Celtics. Obviously, you have to be thrilled with what they got done in Game 4. Taking that 3-1 lead is very key. Tatum looking amazing out there, 37 points, another monster performance from him. Now, he did score 14 points at the free throw line, but with the kind of defense Orlando plays and his willingness to drive to the basket, I don't think those are the most unethical 14 points ever, but they're not great looking necessarily. Now, Jaylen Brown scored 9 out of 10, or 9 out of his 21 points from the free throw line, going 9 of 10 from the charity stripe. Not the most efficient shooting night from him. He was 0 of 3 from 3 as well, but not a bad night either to put up 21 points and be a +7. The bench for the Celtics is looking shorter and shorter and did not do very much. Pritchard only had 0 points. He was a +11, 0 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound in 26 minutes off the bench. So he's going to need to do a little bit more. But in general, we don't hate what we're seeing right now with the Boston Celtics. So we'll see what goes on in this one. Boston is a little bit banged up right now. They come into this game, probably Jrue Holiday going to be out, or maybe, no, Jrue Holiday confirmed out that hamstring, and Jaylen Brown on the injury report with that knee issue, but he's questionable. I think it's very likely he plays in this game. And the odds makers are big on the Celtics. They're 11.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 199.5. Orlando 20-23 against the spread on the road, a 500 against the spread team after a loss, and they are a significant under team this year. Boston 19-24 against the spread at home, 21-41 and 1 against the spread after a win. They are a slight under team as well this season. Guys, Boston's terrible coming off a win. We've been fading Boston off a win basically all season long. I'm not going to stop doing that here necessarily. This isn't going in the pinned comment, but if you're asking me for a side on this one, I definitely think you want to be on the Magic getting 11.5 points. I think they've got what it takes to make this game close, especially against the short-handed Celtics. Now, they are playing in Boston. Maybe that whistle could be too much on Boston's side in this game. That's definitely a possibility, but I'm going to be leaning towards the Magic and the points. In terms of that total of 199.5, I think it's so low for a reason. Go ahead and give me a slight lean towards the under, but it is the slightest of slight leans. I've got some player props in this game that I like much better than that underplay, and first up is Jason Tatum over 27.5 points in this game. He had 36 and 37 points in the 2 full games he's played in this series. Boston's going to want to close this thing out and gives themselves a chance for some rest. I expect Tatum to once again go off for 30+ points in this game. I think that's a very good play, and I also like Franz Wagner here over 23.5 points. Back against the wall game here, and he needs to give Banchero some help. It was good to see him give him some help in the last game, but not great. He's got room to produce more here in Game 5, and I think he does so, getting comfortably to 24 points. And last but not least, guys, I love Derek White over 15.5 points. He's been over that number in each game in the series, scoring a minimum of 16 and averaging 20 points per game in the series overall. He's going back home to Boston, going to be getting those shots up for sure, and shooting at those home rims definitely doesn't hurt. Give me Derek White here to comfortably get to 16 or more points in this game. He's got a great chance to end up in the pinned comment. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the LA Clippers going on the road to take on the Denver Nuggets. It's what's shaping up to be the craziest series here of the opening round. Now, the Nuggets got the Game 4 win, the must-win Game 4 win, thanks to a last millisecond dunk there from Aaron Gordon. It's crazy. All the different angles you can find of that play is absolutely bonkers. I had no idea that the backboard lights up light by light. All that stuff was just absolutely nuts. I think it should have counted. I think that's totally fair. I think he made it. I think it was out of his hands or whatever, but insane stuff. We thought we were going to need a big Jamal Murray game for the Nuggets to have a chance. Well, turns out that's not the case. They just needed solid production from everyone and Jokic to go nuts. He had 36 points, 21 rebounds, and 8 assists in that game. Hard to put, hard to even comprehend the kind of production that Jokic is putting up right now. It is absolutely crazy stuff. Now, everybody else was fine. Brown was pretty good, putting up 17 points. That was clutch. Michael Porter Jr., despite the shoulder injury, playing well. So, liking what we're seeing from the Nuggets. Now, that bench is terrible. They basically have no bench, but we'll see what they can do. See if they possibly get Westbrook back. That would maybe help. Would that help? Maybe? We'll see. We'll see if that helps for Denver. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. on the injury report with that shoulder, but he's definitely going to play. Westbrook dealing with that foot issue. He's questionable for this game. So we'll see what the Nuggets do at home here as they host the Clippers, who, probably feeling a little bit tilted. I mean, that was such a weird and wild second half to that game. But getting outscored 35-17 in the third quarter, then outscoring Denver 34-16 in the fourth, for this to come down to that last second dunk on a airballed shot from Jokic. It was crazy, guys. It was insane. What a game to watch, though. I mean, Kawhi comes into this game fresh off of playing pretty well. 24 points from him in that one, but he can definitely make more shots and be a little bit more efficient. Zubac continues to do his thing. Norman Powell did his thing, but James Harden was kind of nowhere to be found. That was a big problem there for the Clippers. And Bogdanovic actually played really well on both ends of the floor. Not something you can always see from him, but not a lot of guys knocking down a ton of shots there outside of the starting lineup, and really just not outside of Kawhi, Harden, and Powell. So we'll see what happens in this one. The Clippers come into this game looking very healthy and ready to go, so that's a big plus. Obviously, the Nuggets are 2-point underdogs here at home, which is a bit shocking to see, guys. I'm a little bit surprised by that. We've got a total of 208.5. The Clippers 21-22 against spread on the road, 18-15 against spread after a loss. They are a slight under team this year. Denver 18-24-1 against spread at home, 23-27-1 against spread after a win, 49-37 to the over. I'm going to be leaning here just slightly towards the Denver Nuggets getting 2 points at home. I think being at home is a big deal here. Now, maybe we see the Clippers, maybe this series could definitely go 7. I definitely think it's going to go 7. Now, I'm not locked in on this one at all. This is a crazy series. I think any team could win any game. I think home court means very little in this series. In terms of that total of 208.5, I want to lean a bit towards the over, but the way these playoff games are being officiated, it's a little bit hard to take any over. So that's not a play that I'm super interested in either, but I am very interested in some player props for this game. And first up, I like James Harden here under 20.5 points. He disappeared in Game 4 and was a big part of why the Clippers were down so aggressively. His playoff history is returning to haunt him, and in general, he can just drift out there. He's not somebody that's had good playoff numbers over the course of his career. I think we're seeing that once again. Also, the assist numbers might be there, but the offensive production himself is not. So I'll take the under there on Harden's total points. On the Nuggets side, I'll take Brown over 11.5 points. Great game in Game 4, scoring 17 points despite going only 1 of 7 from 3. Now going back home, I fully expect him to have a solid game and be a big part of a Nuggets win if they can pull this thing off. Now, last but not least, I like Michael Porter Jr. here over 1.5 made threes. He's shooting the ball pretty well despite the shoulder issue, going 4 of 7 from deep in Game 4. And if you have ever watched this dude play basketball, you know those shots are going up. So him knocking down 2 threes at home seems like a very solid spot to me. That's all we've got time for out there today, guys. Do me a big favor, slam that like button for good luck on your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But most importantly, get over to somethespread.com, click that sign up button, sign up for a free account to get on our free email newsletter. It's one of the best ways to keep track of everything going on over there, and also to get your hands on some free picks and some free parlays. So definitely get over there, check that out, get down in the comments, let me know any questions you have on today's slate or anything else you have a question about for me. I appreciate you watching. We will see you guys very soon, same time, same place tomorrow for more sports betting action.